The following groundbreaking documentary is presented by Han World and produced and compiled by the undersigned, Chris Folgers. In 2023, after a series of realizations and with the help of the first ChatGPT, I formulated my alternative scientific theory, a theory that, very recently in 2025, has experienced a major breakthrough, leading to yet another new series of realizations. With this, the Central Monopole Theory has become a true theory of everything and provides incredibly interesting, refreshing insights into how our nature and reality truly work. Not only does it answer the great physical questions, but it also reveals the hidden magnetic interactions in our world, and thus forms of free energy and other extraordinary processes. It also, of course, sheds light on the current state of information and what we, the general public, are being taught as scientific truth. Unfortunately, we must acknowledge that we are naturally trapped in a deception, and the CMFT offers a very interesting perspective on that as well. Brace yourself, because the truth is hard. The greatest lie ever told? The true shape of our world according to the Central Monopole Theory. Introduction. What if everything we know about space, Earth, and our universe is a carefully constructed illusion? The Central Monopole Theory, CMT, reveals a shocking truth. Our world is not an isolated sphere in an infinite universe, but a flat, stable formation within a massive electromagnetic torus field. For decades, mainstream science has imposed upon us a cosmic model in which gravity is the all-determining force. Space is infinite, and black holes are destructive singularities. But what if this narrative has been deliberately created to keep our consciousness trapped in a limited worldview? What if space agencies like NASA and ESA aren't as transparent as they appear and are pursuing a hidden agenda? The CMT posits that space is not just an empty vacuum, but a layered energetic structure where electromagnetic flux fields form the true forces behind our reality. The so-called Alice ring process split the original monopole energy into two opposing forces, the monopole and the anti-monopole. This not only intensified the duality of good and evil, but has also led to a world where deception and truth are in constant conflict. Is the reality we live in just a controlled perception? And if so, who benefits from keeping us trapped in this lie? In this documentary, we dive deep into hidden technologies, disinformation campaigns, and the true shape of our world. Be open to a radical revision of everything you thought you knew, because this may be the most controversial revelation you'll ever encounter. Chapter Overview. Chapter 1. The Alice ring process. The creation of duality, the original monopole, and Chapter 1. The Alice ring process, the creation of duality. Introduction. The splitting of the original monopole. In traditional scientific models, the universe is believed to have originated from a singularity, a point of infinite density and energy that exploded in the so-called Big Bang and expanded in all directions. But what if this isn't the full story? What if the explosion wasn't a chaotic event, but a controlled transformation, an energetic rearrangement that determined the foundations of our reality? The Central Monopole Theory, CMT, suggests that in the primordial phase of the universe, there existed a singular, all-encompassing monopole, a pure, undivided energy vortex that knew no opposites. In this state, there was no duality, no good or evil, no time or space as we know them. This was the absolute unity, the original blueprint of reality. But at a certain point in the cosmic cycle, an event occurred that changed everything, the Alice ring process. The Alice ring, the gateway to duality. The Alice ring is a theoretical phenomenon described by conventional science as a topological vortex within electromagnetic fields. However, in the CMT model, the Alice ring is much more than that. It is the dividing line between the original monopole and the split duality that we know today. Through a process similar to the spaghettification we observe in black holes, the original monopole was divided into two opposing forces. The monopole, positive creative force. This part retained the original, harmonious energy of unity. It connects with consciousness, truth, and the constructive forces of the universe. The anti-monopole, negative disruptive force. This part functions as an opposing force. an entity that creates fragmentation, illusion, and deception. It feeds on division, ignorance, and the limitation of consciousness. This splitting created an energetic division within our universe, causing an absolute separation between good and evil, truth and deception, freedom and control. It is a cosmic force field that manifests not only in the physical world, but also in the consciousness of all living beings. The effects of the split, a world of deception. The Alice ring process had far-reaching consequences. Through the division into monopole and anti-monopole, not only was the material reality split, but so was the knowledge and perception of truth. 1. Control over information and science. The world we live in is saturated with one-sided, misleading information. This is no accident, but a direct result of the anti-monopole force manipulating our perception of reality. Mainstream science is limited to a materialistic worldview, where everything must fit within the model of gravity and quantum mechanics. Space is portrayed as an infinite emptiness, while in reality, an invisible electromagnetic structure defines the true boundaries of our universe. NASA and other space agencies suppress alternative models, such as theories about a flat or stationary Earth. Number 2, the illusion of the cosmos, NASA's role in the Great Deception. NASA and other agencies are not merely research organizations. They act as gatekeepers of reality. They determine what is accepted as scientific truth, while simultaneously withholding crucial knowledge. Think of the numerous inconsistent moon missions, the blurry images from the Hubble telescope, and the many occasions when NASA has been caught faking space imagery. Why would they do this? The answer lies in the nature of the Alice ring process. The anti-monopole force benefits from us believing in a false reality. The illusion of endless space keeps us trapped in a model where we, as insignificant beings, exist in a vast, purposeless universe. Stories about extraterrestrial life may be part of a controlled perception manipulation designed to create distractions. Satellites and space programs may not follow the paths we are told, but instead operate within an electromagnetic field that is not publicly acknowledged. The key to liberation: understanding the true structure. Now that we understand how reality was split, the question arises, how can we escape this grip of deception? The answer lies in reconnecting with the original monopole. This means we must reprogram our consciousness and discard old dogmas, recognize the influence of the anti-monopole in media, science, and institutions, expand our perception by exploring the true nature of the electromagnetic universe. By taking the Central Monopole Theory seriously, we can uncover the truth behind the Alice ring process and free ourselves from the illusions that have been maintained for centuries. In the next chapter, we will delve deeper into NASA's role and how this organization, along with its secret technologies, has taken control of our reality. Chapter 2. NASA and the Greatest Illusion Ever, the Cosmic Deception Machine. Introduction: The Gatekeepers of Deception. Since NASA's founding in 1958, the public has been presented with a grand story. Humanity was on the brink of exploring the final frontiers of space. Satellites, moon landings, and space telescopes were said to provide us with insight into the universe and our place within it. But what if this was all just a carefully constructed facade? According to the Central Monopole Theory, CMT, NASA is not a neutral scientific organization, but rather a tool of the anti-monopole force, an entity that spreads deception and confusion to conceal the true nature of our existence. The reason for this? If humans were to understand the true structure of reality, they would break free from the control mechanisms of the system. NASA functions as a cosmic deception machine, presenting an alternate reality entirely disconnected from the electromagnetic flux in which we exist. Through manipulated images, fabricated stories, and censored information, NASA keeps us locked in a materialistic worldview, where Earth is just a random globe floating through endless empty space. But if we dig deep enough, we find countless clues that suggest this is not the true reality. In this chapter, we reveal the lies and manipulations that NASA uses to keep humanity's consciousness trapped in an illusion. 1. The true structure of the cosmos and NASA's role. Within the CMT, our universe does not exist as an endless vacuum where planets and stars float freely. Instead, we are within a toroidal energy field, a closed electromagnetic circulation where matter and consciousness are continually recycled. NASA's primary task is to keep this fundamental fact hidden. How do they do this? By creating the illusion of deep space, a concept that makes us believe that vast, unreachable distances and countless galaxies exist beyond our reach. By spreading false models of planets and galaxies based on CGI images and artistic impressions instead of real observations. By withholding essential information about electromagnetic structures in the universe and pretending that space travel operates based on conventional rocket science. The reason for this is simple. If we were to recognize that Earth does not float in an empty universe, but is instead situated within a toroidal circulation of energy, the entire materialistic worldview of modern science would collapse. And that is exactly what NASA seeks to prevent. 2. NASA's lies and manipulations. A factual overview. NASA has provided numerous evidences for the heliocentric model and the space missions they have conducted. But when we critically examine their claims, we see a pattern of inconsistencies, false information, and outright lies. A. The moon landings, a theatrical illusion. The Apollo moon landings remain one of the most controversial events in modern history. The CMT suggests that the moon, like the sun, is not a physical celestial body, but a projection of electromagnetic flux within the toroidal field. This means physical landings are impossible, and that NASA did something entirely different from what they claim. The video footage of the moon landings is filled with anomalies, strange shadows, flags waving without an atmosphere, and astronauts moving as if in a studio setting. No space agency has conducted a manned moon landing since, despite technological advancements. NASA destroyed crucial evidence, such as the original moon landing footage and telemetry data, making independent investigation impossible. What does this mean? The moon landings were a controlled illusion, a massive media spectacle designed to convince humanity that we can explore the universe as NASA claims. B. Satellites and the invisible structure of space. NASA claims there are thousands of satellites orbiting Earth, but the CMT posits that conventional satellite technology does not work as they tell us. In reality, satellites move along the magnetic flux lines of the torus and use electromagnetic energy to maintain their position. Why is this information hidden? Because it would prove that space is not an empty vacuum, but an electrically charged medium. Because it would show that gravity is not the primary force affecting celestial bodies, but electromagnetism. Because it would raise questions about why NASA hides the true nature of the cosmos. C. The blue marble and other photoshopped images. One of NASA's most famous images is the blue marble, the iconic photo of Earth as a perfect sphere. But did you know that NASA employee Robert Simon admitted that this image is a digital composition? NASA's satellite images of Earth are repeatedly referred to as computer-generated images, CGI, by their own staff. They admit to adjusting the colors, cloud patterns, and proportions to create a visually appealing presentation. Why would NASA falsify images of Earth if we have thousands of satellites that could photograph it? Because the true surface of the Earth doesn't match the image they are trying to impose on us. 3. Why the lie? What NASA hides about the true cosmic order. NASA's role is not just to mislead the masses. It is a controlled attempt to prevent humanity from understanding how our universe truly works. A. The true nature of the Earth. Not a spinning globe. Within the CMT, Earth is not a spinning globe in an infinite universe. Instead, we exist on a horizontal plane within a toroidal flux. The North Pole is the magnetic center, not the South Pole as NASA claims. The electromagnetic boundary, the firmament boundary, is impermeable to conventional spacecraft. B. The true forces controlling the Earth. The Earth is in a continuous dynamic process where the energy of the monopole and anti-monopole constantly interact. NASA knows this and uses this knowledge to develop their own technologies while keeping the public in ignorance. Secret experiments with magnetic energy and anti-gravity are hidden from the masses. Satellites and other space technologies actually utilize the toroidal energy fields rather than conventional rocket propulsion. NASA studies the interactions of the Alice ring with the Earth's surface to access higher realities. Conclusion: the greatest deception unveiled. NASA is not a neutral space organization. It is a gatekeeper of cosmic deception. They are not here to let us explore space, but to prevent us from discovering the truth about the electromagnetic nature of reality. In the next chapter, we will examine how the electromagnetic boundaries of Earth function and why conventional space travel is a myth. Chapter 3: The True Nature of Space and Celestial Bodies. Introduction: The Greatest Cosmic Misunderstanding. What if everything we've learned about space is wrong? What if the sun and the moon are not physical objects, but projections from a higher electromagnetic system? The Central Monopole Theory, CMT, reveals an entirely new understanding of the cosmos, a reality where conventional space travel is impossible, and satellites and celestial bodies do not function as we are told. In this chapter, we will unravel the true structure of space and the forces that govern celestial bodies. We will show why classical models of astronomy are incorrect and why NASA and other entities are concealing this truth. 1. The sun and moon as projections within the toroidal field. The CMT posits that the sun and the moon are not massive celestial bodies orbiting the Earth at astronomical distances, but rather advanced electromagnetic projections within the toroidal field surrounding our world. The sun, a focus point of electromagnetic energy. Rather than being a massive nuclear fusion reactor, as conventional science claims, the sun functions within Earth's electromagnetic flux. It is not a solid, burning sphere in space, but a light source created by energy concentration in the central monopole. Why the sun is a projection? The movement of the sun follows the toroidal field and changes in a predictable pattern, consistent with an electromagnetic system. The temperature in the upper atmosphere increases with altitude rather than decreasing, suggesting the sun is not a distant object, but a nearby concentration of energy. Spherical reflections and optical effects, such as the so-called green flash during sunset, suggest an interaction with an electromagnetic medium, not an object millions of kilometers away. B. The moon, a reflective center of frequency information. Like the sun, the moon is not a solid object orbiting the Earth, but a projection of energetic information within the toroidal fields. Evidence that the moon is a projection. Moonlight has a cooling effect, whereas reflected sunlight would normally warm. This suggests that the moon is not a solid object, but has its own energetic source. The moon shows no parallax. Unlike stars and planets, it appears nearly identical to every observer on Earth, implying that it does not hover at a distant distance. During solar eclipses, the moon seems semi-transparent, implying it is not a solid object, but rather a phased light source within the electromagnetic network. C. The true relationship between the sun and moon. The sun and the moon work as a dual polarity within the toroidal field. They move along magnetic flux lines and play a crucial role in the energy balance of our reality. They are not objects orbiting the Earth, but rather focal points of energy projected by the monopole forces. Major 2. Why conventional space travel is impossible. NASA and other space agencies claim to have sent humans and probes to the moon, Mars, and beyond. But if space is not as we are told, how could these missions have actually taken place? The CMT reveals that conventional space travel is impossible under the current model, as the entire concept of empty space is a misconception. A. The electromagnetic boundary of the Earth. The Earth is surrounded by a force field that functions as an energy barrier, often mistaken for the so-called Van Allen radiation belts. In reality, this is a highly charged electromagnetic boundary that cannot be penetrated by matter such as conventional rockets. Why space travel is impossible. No mission has ever proven manned space travel beyond the electromagnetic boundary. NASA's Apollo missions are based on false data and CGI images. Satellites and space stations, such as the ISS, operate on an electromagnetic basis and are within the flux, not beyond it. No independent scientific entity has ever observed space beyond this boundary. All information comes exclusively from organizations like NASA and ESA. The real reason behind fake space programs. NASA and other space programs serve one primary purpose: to conceal the true nature of our electromagnetic ecosystem. Why? To prevent people from understanding the true structure of the cosmos. to reinforce the idea of a mechanical, materialistic universe and suppress consciousness development. To hide advanced technologies such as magnetic propulsion and energy fields from the masses. This means that images of Mars, the moon landings, and even space telescope photos are nothing more than computer-generated illusions, intended to keep us trapped in a false understanding of the cosmos. 3. How satellites and other technologies really operate. If conventional space travel does not work as claimed, how do satellites actually function? The CMT suggests that satellites are not mechanical objects orbiting the Earth, but electromagnetic nodes that utilize the natural flux lines of the toroidal field. The reality of satellites. They are not in an orbit as NASA claims, but are in stabilized electromagnetic positions within the flux lines. The energy sources of these devices are based on resonance with Earth's frequencies, not on conventional solar energy or chemical propulsion. The telecommunications industry uses this understanding to send signals through the electromagnetic flux without satellites actually floating at heights of thousands of kilometers. A. The satellite deception. Why there are no 20,000 satellites in orbit. NASA claims that over 20,000 operational satellites are orbiting the Earth. But upon closer inspection, we discover that there are no real photos of the thousands of satellites supposedly orbiting the Earth. The signals allegedly sent by satellites can be perfectly explained by a network of ground stations and reflective ionospheric techniques. The so-called satellite images have repeatedly been photoshopped or digitally altered. The actual technology behind communication systems like GPS and weather satellites relies on a combination of ground stations and electromagnetic resonance points within the toroidal flux. Conclusion: the true cosmic order revealed. The true structure of our world is not that of a lonely planet floating through an empty, cold space. We are within a giant, living electromagnetic system where the sun and moon are projections, and space travel as we know it is an illusion. In the next chapter, we will explore how this knowledge is used by secret societies and how the elite has had access to hidden technologies derived from the true cosmic structure for centuries. Chapter 4. The End of the Flat Earth Debate. Introduction. The search for the true nature of our reality. The flat Earth theory has experienced a massive resurgence in recent decades, particularly in response to the glaring inconsistencies within the conventional heliocentric model. Mainstream science claims that we live on a rotating sphere floating through the infinite void of space, but this explanation raises numerous questions. Why have we never seen a real, unedited photo of Earth from space? Why does water never visibly curve over a horizon? And why does the horizon always remain perfectly flat, no matter how high we rise? The flat Earth community posed the right questions and uncovered much of the deception and lies propagated by organizations like NASA. However, their model, which describes Earth as a flat disk with a dome, is only part of the puzzle. The Central Monopole Theory, CMT, offers a more complete and profound answer that explains both the physical observations and the hidden energetic structure of our reality. In this chapter, we unravel why the flat Earth theory was close to the truth, but ultimately fell short. We show how the CMT provides a more advanced model and reveal the true shape of our world and the boundaries of our reality. 1. Why the flat Earth community was on the right track, but didn't see the full picture. The resurgence of the flat Earth movement is a direct result of growing distrust towards official agencies and their contradictory explanations of the nature of reality. Thanks to technologies like high-altitude balloons and powerful zoom cameras, researchers have demonstrated that the horizon always remains flat and that there is no discernible curvature. A. What the flat Earth movement got right. The horizon is always flat and rises to eye level, which shouldn't be possible if we lived on a curved surface. Water remains perfectly horizontal and never bends, whereas science claims oceans should follow a curvature of thousands of kilometers. NASA and other space agencies have repeatedly falsified images of Earth, including CGI, photo manipulation, and inconsistent satellite images. Stars and planets do not behave as predicted by the heliocentric model, and their movements are better explained by a geocentric system. The flat Earth movement understood that official models were flawed, but their own model, a flat disk with a physical dome, still fails to account for all observations and physical principles. 2. How the CMT provides a more accurate model that explains both observations and energetic reality. The Central Monopole Theory, CMT, suggests that we do not live on a flat disk, but within a toroidal energetic structure. This means our world exists within a horizontal plane inside a gigantic electromagnetic system that functions as a cyclic flux field. A. Earth as a horizontal plane. Within a toroidal system, Earth is neither a sphere nor a flat disk, but an expansive plane within a toroidal structure. The horizon remains flat because we exist within a closed field where light and perception are influenced by electromagnetic flux lines. Water remains horizontal because gravity is not a mysterious attractive force, but an effect of electromagnetic pressure within the torus field. B. The true cosmic order. Instead of planets floating through an endless vacuum, celestial bodies are projections and energetic nodes within the torus field. The Sun and Moon do not orbit the Earth on spherical paths, but move within a circular electromagnetic system that dictates their positions and movements. The night sky is not a representation of objects millions of light years away, but a frequency field operating within our reality. This explains why constellations never change, despite the claim that we are traveling through an ever-expanding universe. In reality, space is a flux field that remains stable within the electromagnetic torus system. 3. The true shape of our world and the boundaries of our reality. The big question is, if we don't live on a sphere and the Earth is not an endless flat disk, what does our world really look like? According to the Central Monopole Theory, we exist within an energetic donut-shaped structure where our physical reality is just a small part of a much larger system. A. The true nature of the horizon. The horizon is not the edge of a flat disk, but a visual boundary caused by electromagnetic flux. This explains why objects disappear behind the horizon, but can be seen again with a zoom lens, which would not happen if they were actually behind a curvature. The atmosphere acts as a dense optical layer that influences our vision and can hide or distort certain objects in the sky. B. The true boundaries of our world. The Antarctic edge that flat earthers describe is not a physical boundary, but an energetic limit within the torus field. Above a certain altitude, you do not enter space, but a higher frequency layer where matter can no longer function as we know it. This explains why space travel is impossible and why organizations like NASA cannot conduct manned missions beyond this boundary. C. Why this knowledge is hidden. Elites and secret societies have known for centuries that the Earth is not a sphere and that we exist within a closed system. They have consciously created false space science to keep this truth hidden. Why? To conceal the true nature of our reality and maintain control over humanity's perception, to monopolize advanced technologies that utilize electromagnetic flux and resonance, to prevent humanity from becoming aware of its true spiritual and energetic potential. Conclusion: the end of the flat Earth debate. The flat Earth theory was a step in the right direction, but it remained an incomplete model that did not fully understand the true nature of our world. The Central Monopole Theory brings the pieces together and reveals a much more advanced and accurate understanding of our reality. We do not live on an endless flat disk. We do not live on a rotating sphere in an infinite vacuum. We exist within a toroidal electromagnetic system, where the Sun and Moon are projections, and space as we know it is an illusion. In the next chapter, we will dive deeper into the secret knowledge of ancient civilizations and how they have known for centuries about the true nature of our reality. Chapter 5, The Great Escape, How Consciousness is the Key. Introduction. The veil is lifted. What if everything we thought we knew about our world, space, time, matter, and consciousness, was merely a shadow of a deeper truth? In the previous chapters, we've uncovered the illusions of conventional science and discovered that the Earth is not a ball in an endless universe, but a horizontal plane within a vast toroidal energetic system. We've seen how the Sun and the Moon are not solid objects, but projections within the electromagnetic field, and how space travel, as we are told, is impossible. But what does this mean for us as humans? If reality is different from what we've been taught, this means our consciousness functions in a different way than we thought. Perhaps the greatest lie of all is this, that we are merely physical beings, cut off from a higher reality. In this chapter, we reveal the true power of consciousness and how it is directly connected to the torus field that forms our universe. We explore how the knowledge of the Central Monopole Theory, CMT, not only helps us understand the physical world, but also offers a path to spiritual freedom and awakening. Are we prisoners in an artificial reality? And if so, how can we escape? Let's dive deeper. 1. The imposed worldview, a mental prison. Throughout history, humanity has been subjected to a carefully crafted illusion. We were taught that we are merely material beings in a mechanical universe, with no higher purpose or deeper connection to the cosmos. This was achieved through the heliocentric model, which places us as insignificant beings on a small ball in an infinite universe. The scientific materialist doctrine, which asserts that only what is physically measurable is real. Religious dogmas, which make us dependent on external authorities and keep us from direct spiritual knowledge. Mass media and education, which bombard us with controlled information to limit our perception of reality. But why would a small elite go to such lengths to control our worldview? Because our perception of reality creates our reality. As long as we believe we are weak, isolated beings, we remain trapped in the artificial structure of this world. But once we realize that consciousness is the key, we can break free from the matrix and rediscover our true power. 2. How consciousness is connected to the torus field. According to the Central Monopole Theory, CMT, our universe is not a random interplay of atoms, but an organized, cyclical flux field that continuously exchanges energy and information. This means that everything in the universe has an electromagnetic frequency, including our consciousness. Our brain is not the producer of consciousness, but merely a receiver and transmitter within this larger field. Our thoughts, intentions, and emotions influence the field, and thereby the reality we experience. Think about how a radio frequency works. If you tune into a certain wavelength, you receive the corresponding information. If you tune into a different frequency, you experience an entirely different reality. Our consciousness functions in the same way. The true nature of our world is not merely physical. It is an interactive, energetic system in which we play an active role. Once we learn how to tune into higher frequencies within the torus field, we can break free from the limitations of the imposed illusion. 3. How we can tune into the torus field. To raise our consciousness frequency and connect with the deeper forces of reality, we must rid ourselves of the mental programming that keeps us small and powerless. Here are some concrete steps to achieve this. A. Disconnect from the programmed reality. Limit your exposure to controlled media. Stop consuming negative, fear-inducing information. Explore alternative knowledge. Dive into hidden history, forbidden science, and esoteric wisdom. Break free from toxic social programming. Let go of limiting beliefs and structures that keep you trapped. B. Recalibrate your consciousness to the true nature of reality. Meditation and visualization. Tune into the frequencies of the torus field and open your consciousness to deeper insights. Energy management. Protect your aura and raise your vibration through healthy nutrition, pure water, and contact with nature. Use intention and manifestation. Realize that your thoughts directly influence your reality and learn to create consciously. C. Understand the true dynamics of our existence. Accept that time is cyclical and that we are in a recurring system of consciousness development. Recognize that we are multidimensional beings, not confined to this physical layer of reality. Understand that the elite have used this knowledge for centuries to maintain power, while we've been distracted by false models and illusions. This is not New Age fantasy. This is a fundamental understanding of how energy, matter, and consciousness work within the larger electromagnetic field in which we live. 4. The impact on the future of humanity and our spiritual evolution. What happens when more and more people awaken to the true nature of our reality? The consequences are unimaginable. The end of power structures that oppress us. Without deception, we can finally be free. The discovery of advanced technologies, such as free energy and anti-gravity, based on the torus field. A new era of consciousness, where we are no longer limited by the physical illusion and we unleash our full potential. CMT is not just an alternative theory, it is a roadmap to a higher understanding of our existence. We are not here merely to survive, trapped in a system of work, taxes, and endless distractions. We are here to evolve. The Great Escape is not a physical journey to another place. It is an inner journey to a higher consciousness. The key lies within you. Conclusion: the beginning of a new age. The truth has been revealed. We are not the random products of a mechanical universe. We are energy beings within a living, cyclical torus field. Once we fully realize this, we are free. In the next part of this documentary, we will dive deeper into the practical applications of this knowledge. How can we use these insights to change our reality? How can we prepare for the shift that is already underway? Subscribe and share this with others. The awakening begins now.